5x5 is like a status symbol. If you can build it, you're probably a redstone god. But honestly, don't you just wish they were easier? Hello everyone, my name's Tomco and welcome back. Now the 5x5 door, stated in its name, is 5 blocks tall and you'll guessed it 5 blocks wide. But it can be expanded to whatever width you want, making some absolutely insane doors. It's extremely simple, with the redstone being very repetitive, and it even comes with pre-installed buttons. Because it uses flying machines, this can also be used as a flush door, making it one of the best things humankind has ever built. Probably around the 4th or 3rd best. So to use this thing, all you gotta do is press the button and the whole thing will come sliding down. The animation of this can be a little finicky with the concrete pad at the top, but that is optional. You don't have to have that. We can even close this door behind us, and yes, the back is ugly. So I've got a 15 wide version over here. Press this, it's exactly the same thing. I mean, just look at this. Imagine having this in like a hidden bunker or something. And probably the coolest thing about this door is it can be flush with the wall. So this is a 5x5 flush door, and when we hit this button, it literally opens up a whole different world. You'll never guess this is behind this wall. Now, as you can see, if you are having it flush with the wall, you're going to have a gap here anyways. Don't do what I do and fall in. Now, the wall download is in the description below, so make sure you download that. Anyways, let's just go straight in with this tutorial. So before we start the tutorial, this is what we're going to be building. Yeah, the redstone is a little bit higgledy-piggledy. The main bit is the fly machine over here, and this is just the buttons. So the way I'm going to be doing the item list is by layers, because this thing can be expandable. So you don't need to give you an item list for a 5x5 door when you want to make it 5x30. But what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be splitting this stuff into sections. So for this first row here, this will include everything for the buttons as well. And for that, this is everything you're going to need. Now bear in mind that the slime and honey blocks, these are going to be alternate. So if you have one row fly machine that's in slime, the next fly machine is going to be with honey. So you're only going to need 8 of one of them. And with this grey glazed terracotta over here, this can be whatever non-movable block you have. Cut in 20 in case you want to add decoration into this thing. But as long as you have a couple of non-movable blocks, this will be fine. Then this green block is my redstone block, and this iron block is my block of choice. And after this first initial layer, we're going to be moving on to one individual layers, and for that, this is what you're going to need. Now, once again, the same thing applies with the slime and the honey blocks. You're only going to need one of those, building blocks, and then redstone blocks. I don't know why there's only 5 and 2 of those, there should be more. So that red shulker box represents this, then the green shulker box represents each individual layer after that. So I'm going to be showing you how to make this thing 5 blocks wide, but you can make it 4 blocks, 3 blocks, there's no reason why you should make it 2 blocks, and it can go all the way up to 15 blocks wide without the use of repeaters or anything. Now bear in mind that this represents ground level here, and these 25 blocks here represent that the door is closed. So those 25 blocks over there are the same as these. As you can see, they're all on the same level. Now under this first door block, you are going to need 11 blocks of clear room. So all the way down to here. And then these gold blocks, if you look straight up, you'll see that the door blocks are there. Then in total, this will be 8 blocks long. But let's say you were to come to this first initial gold block. So like if you even wanted to make it 1 block wide, you could do. It would be 2 blocks this way, 1 block that way, and then 3 blocks this way. So the total dimensions are 4 by 8 blocks. And that's for the 5x5 version. I suggest you get this layout in your world already so you know exactly where everything's going. Otherwise, it can just be a little bit confusing. Then above this panel, you are going to need 19 blocks of clear space. As you can see, it goes all the way up to here. Now, this might seem like a bunch of room, but I promise you it's not. Like, if you look over here, most of the space is just filled with a couple of redstone lines. But once you got this setup started, we can start building. So to start off, you want to give your door a frame, just like this. And then once we got this in place, you can remove the actual door blocks. But for now, I'm going to be showing you how to make it non-flush. Then I'm going to be showing you how to make it flush afterwards. There'll be a timestamp on screen right now. So if you are making this flush, you want to skip to that and not follow what I'm doing. Then this bottom bit over here, this is where your button's going to go. It can go here or this side, doesn't really matter. So now we can get rid of all these door blocks as they are no longer in use. Then you're going to come right to the very bottom and place all blocks where the gold blocks are. The next are 2 blocks at the edge, just like that. Then where the gold block is, you want to place redstone dust in front of it. And then redstone repeater set to 1 ticks directly into that. With another piece of redstone dust at the end. You're going to come a block to the right, block up, destroy this block. Piece of redstone dust. 2 blocks of glass on top of that. 2 more dust. 2 more glass. 2 more dust. And then 2 regular blocks side by side here like so. Then whilst you're here, you want to place the sticky piston directly under the block with the button on. As you can see, the button's here. Sticky pistons here. Place an observer so that it's facing towards this direction, so that when we have a block on top of this, If we were to press this button, that line should be activated. You then want to come around to this block, place a redstone torch on the side, a block up, another redstone torch, and then from this block you want to tower up until you get to the very top. So it's one block above this frame. Then I'll place a block directly to the right. Redstone repeater set to 3 ticks. Then I'm going to block up with your nice blocks. And run it all the way along the frame of the door, but remove this piece. So where the gold blocks are, run it along until you get to the very end of those. Then just place redstone torch here. Then redstone dust, so where the redstone dust are, as you can see, it should be directly on top of those gold blocks. I'm going to come back around to this redstone torch. Place a temporary block here. And then you're placing regular pistons all under this. Now these should all get activated. This is going to act as the stopping mechanism for the flying machine, and it's also going to send them back down. And I'm going to show you how to make it flush. So if you don't want it to be flush and you want to carry on with what we're doing, then skip this time on the screen or just wait for the flush bit to be over. So I've stripped everything back to how it was. Now the very first thing you want to do is add a frame around your door so that it's flat with the wall, and therefore the door will be hidden. You wouldn't make the door out of iron blocks. When it's finished, we'll make it blend in. And then you want to come a block to the left after you made this frame, and this is the block that you're going to have your button on. You can even place your button in just like that. You can now remove your door frame, by the way. It's no longer needed and just kind of get in the way. Then we'll come back round to the bottom over here, and on these blocks you want to place in blocks all the way to the edge. 2 dust, redstone repeater set to 1 tick, 5 pieces of redstone dust so they are in line with the gold blocks. Temporary block to the right, a block on top of that, destroy this. Redstone dust, 2 glass blocks, 2 redstone dust, 2 glass blocks, 2 redstone dust, and a regular block up here just like that. You can then place a sticky piston underneath this block with the button on, so when you press the button, sticky piston activates. Observer, temporary block, destroy this. Now that every time you press this button, this redstone line should flash. Then to come around to this side, redstone torch, block. You want to make a torch tower, just like so. So that's 1, 2 blocks, 3 blocks, 4, and the final one up here, just like that. Then we're placing a block to the right of this, redstone dust, a block here, set a redstone repeater set to 3 ticks, a block up, redstone torch on this block, then 5 blocks that you will be able to see from below, just like so. Redstone dust running along all of those. Then you want to want pistons facing downwards next to all these blocks. Now you cannot place in blocks here, you are going to have to leave this gap free. You can place in blocks here, you can place in blocks on the other side, there's no block here. As basically what will happen is this flying machine will just push all these blocks upwards, then it will break. So basically you just need to leave space here for the flying machine to go into. But now that we have the redstone in place, we can build the actual flying machine. So the redstone for this is the exact same whether or not you're making it flush or not, as you will recognize that this redstone on these pistons are in the exact same places whether or not you're making it flush or you're making it non-flush. So basically I can teach 2 people at a time here. Now what you want to do, so the very first thing is placing obsidian blocks on top of this redstone. 1 towards this gold block, destroy these. Then another 4 pieces of obsidian just like that. Then you're placing your 5 observers facing upwards from this redstone dust. Then get either your slime or honey out, it doesn't matter. Whichever you have the most of, get that one out. You then come to this far end over here, to the end that has the repeater on. You're placing 4 slime blocks or honey blocks just like that, with 1 sticking out here. You want to get a piston, place it here. Observer facing upwards into a sticky piston which is here. Then you're placing 3 more slime blocks just like that. And you come down to over here, place a sticky piston facing downwards, observer facing into that, so the face is up here, the dot is into the sticky piston, and another sticky piston on top of this, with a floor block on top of that. So if you want to make this thing out of spruce, I'm just using iron because it's easiest. Then observer facing downwards here, just like that. You can then place in your door block, so this is the bottom of your door, and this is your top of your door, here just like that. Now if your door isn't the flush version, you can place a concrete powder block here, but because mine is, I can't. So now we can test this door out. Now what should happen when we flip this lever? If this thing should fly into the air, as you can see it is doing. We can see this piston, this is why this gap is there for, as this sticky piston would have extended into that. But as you can see, it did stop and the door is flush with the wall. We can send it back downwards and it should go straight back down. And yes, it does. Awesome. This thing will never get old. And now all we got to do is to extend this same design, but this way. So now we're going to be using honey blocks to do it. So 4 blocks, piston, observer, honey, sticky piston. I like to do the bottom bit first and then the top, but you can do it in whatever order you want. You just make sure you don't want to set one of these flying machines off individually. That's the worst thing that you could possibly do. So now it's the slime, honey, and then slime, row of pistons, row of observers, slime, honey, slime, sticky pistons. 1, 2, 3 honey blocks, slime blocks, honey, slime. As you see, it's very, very repetitive, which is why I love it so much. Observers, sticky pistons, blocks, and then observers at the very top over here, and then fill in your door blocks. That's your door done. So now when we flip this, the whole thing should close, and as you can see, it's closing. That is awesome, and we can send it back downwards. That is so cool to look at. And then you can fill in the floor if you want. Decorate it, maybe make it look a little nicer. And now what you want to do is you want to add in your button over here. So to add in your button, it's the exact same design, whether or not you're making it flush or making it non-flush. But what you want to do, you want to come to this very corner of your fly machine. You're going to place a block here, a block here, a block behind this, and then one more block this way, just like that. Destroy these 2 blocks. And this is your button. So you can choose to have your button here, or literally have it straight here, but you will be able to see that, and I don't like that. Place a block underneath this, redstone dust, 2 more blocks, 1 piece of redstone dust, then a repeater going straight into this sticky piston. But if your sticky piston is here, you want to place a block where this is, so it will still power that sticky piston. So all you've got to do is power the same sticky piston that this button is under. And now as you can see, it'll work with this button too. Then I'm going to show you how to expand this thing. So if you don't want to expand it, skip to this timestamp on the screen. I'm going to be showing you how to decorate this properly without messing up blocks, as you do want to have some blocks non-stickable. The first thing to do is to extend this frame. You want to come to the bottom over here and extend this out, how many more blocks you want to extend onto the door. So let's say I want to make this blocks 10 blocks wide, 5 blocks tall. I want to add another 5 blocks onto this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the door will be 10 blocks in total. Carry on the obsidian, then you want to come to the top, carry on this line of blocks, 5 blocks, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or if your blocks are here on this side, carry those blocks on 5 blocks as well. Redstone dust on these blocks, get your pistons out, paste them facing downwards. Once again, if your redstone is here because you made it non-flush, adding more pistons along that. And all you gotta do is extend this flying machine design onwards. Yeah, all you gotta do is carry this design and just keep on doing this until you get to the end. And as you can see, I've literally just extended the line this way. You can also match up the floor if you want. You can build another frame around this thing, but we can test it out by pressing this button, and then as you can see, the whole thing will fly into the air. It looks awesome when it does this. It looks like it literally got a wall of blocks. It looks so cool. But once again, adding this frame around it, you can decorate this frame however you want. You can also place in some blocks here, as let's be honest, it's a little bit ugly when they're free. Then now I want to get your non-stickable block out. There's 2 ways you can decorate this. You need to have it so it's like your hipster door over here. But as you can see, I just have blocks around the floor and I don't have walls on either side. Or you can do it like this one over here where there's walls directly on the side. So I'm going to show you how to do it the hipster way first. I'm going to place in your glazed terracotta or your shulker boxes. Take your glazed terracotta non-movable block or non-stickable block. Place it around like that. Then that is that. So you can have your floor here. Just like this. This can be your new floor, and then the wall would be here. So your wall would be here now. You could not have a wall here or here. You cannot do that with this bit. The wall would have to be there, and the wall would have to be here. So 1 block away, but to be honest, it's not too bad. But if you like really want this thing to be as small as possible, you could have a wall here. But what we'd have to do is have to extend this glazed terracotta all the way up to the ceiling, and this side 2 blocks tall before you could move to your normal blocks. So this side all the way up to the ceiling, this side 2 blocks, and then like that. Actually, these blocks up here, these can be normal blocks, and then your roof is also up here, so you can extend this roof if you want. Just like that. Yeah, now you can decorate it whatever way you want. As long as none of the slime blocks touch any block that isn't non-movable or non-sticky, then it's fine. Anyways, that is the tutorial done. If you have any questions whatsoever, then please do let me know. I'll look forward to answering them, as let's be honest, this thing is a little bit difficult to build. It's a little bit confusing with having it a non-flush version on a flush version in the same video. If there's something not working with it, then make sure you join my Discord, and that's the best place for me to help you. Anyways, that's all for me, and I will see you all later. Have fun with your new awesome 5x5 expandable flying machine hip door thing. I love it.